And some of y'all may not be privy to the fact that alleged Contreprenuers can actually pay their way onto various podcast channels and reputable news outlets.
Around, I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, I saw Bandman Kevo out here doing these, guru type videos. Sign up to my course. I'll teach you how to make money, blah, 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 right? Then I saw this dude recently, Derrick Grace II. And I'm sure there's many more of them out there. But I'm going to kind of look at Bandman Kevo, Derrick, and I'm going to put some of y'all on game. Now, if we take a look at Derrick over here, right? Mr. Derrick says that he makes 1.6 million a month, which is, around 18, 19 million a year. So Mr. Derrick Grace over here is saying that he makes 20 million a year, basically, all right? And if you buy his program, he'll teach you, right? He'll teach you. Now, what people in the financing community call this is a fake guru, okay? Someone who flexes their finances, their cars, their wealth, what they can't afford, to make you buy the programs to think that they can't afford more. There's a lot of people out there like this. I just think that it started to spread into the hood community. Now, I don't know how much Mr. Derrick over here is making, but I looked into him, right? I looked it up. He ain't on Forbes. He's on Forbes India, okay? Now, I'm not saying that getting on Forbes India is easy, okay? But it's just a little suspect, right? You ain't on the Forbes America. No, you on Forbes India. And then he's on a bunch of random websites. And all these things claim, right? They claim that he's worth 50 million. They claim that he has this program that teaches people things. And they claim that he has a book that sold like over 50,000 copies or something. I ain't seen it, right? I ain't seen it. The same thing with Bandman Kevo, right? I don't really know what he's selling. I don't know what he got. But I can tell you one thing, dude is known for scamming. Right? So if you sign up to a rapper's course who is known for scamming, you're going to look stupid, okay?
This includes platforms such as Earn Your Leisure, Dave Never Sleeps, The Breakfast Club.
The strategy that made us the hottest we ever was at that moment was simply exposure, right? Shout out to T.I. Previous to that, y'all, I was making like 700,000 a month. Bro put me on expeditiously.
Expeditiously.
And that's when we cracked and hit for that 1.5 and that 1.62. Back to back for several. But the marketing side though, y'all, is super important. You got something you bring to the table you feel like people gonna with. Either you on your behalf or somebody else on your behalf should be reaching out to these media outlets to get your exposure broader.
Marketing side though, y'all, is super important. You got something you bring to the table you feel like people gonna with. Either you on your behalf or somebody else on your behalf should be reaching out to these media outlets to get your exposure broader.
Bro, people don't want the A to Z on that and how we really took that whole play and turned it into an $11 million a year. Click the link in the bio. Join our 4-week marketing series now. It's for radical school students only. Tuition is a whole 10
to be there. They had some really big names, on the podcast within the same month. Mr. Organic, Bandman Kevo, they were trying to get for the longest. So they paid those guys to come on the show. Basically, he's like, yeah, but I paid $15,000 for Mr. Organic, and I paid $5,000 for Bandman Kevo for an hour.
But this is basically the same Podcast Payola allegation that Earn Your Leisure was accused of.
The impression that I got. But let's see how it's explained by Him500.
Take it a step back. We went to do $1 million worth of game in February, right? Not February, December. I filmed $1 million worth of game in December, okay? Just that and the third. He called me and asked me if I want to be on $1 million worth of game. Let's clear it up. He asked me if I want to be on $1 million. I ain't asked him. I ain't call him ask no favor. He called me, asked me if I want to be on $1 million worth of game. Word to God. Josh told him no. He said it's 50,000. Josh said I'm cool. He told Alex it's 50,000. Alex said I'm cool. He told me I don't care. I'm like 50,000 million worth of game, run the play.
I'm like 50,000 million worth of game, run the play. Run the play.
Run the play. Run it. It's to get on the platform, right? Said it's 50,000. Then I paid for the full run. I paid to be on the show.
I paid to be on the show. I paid to be on the show. I paid to be on the show.
I'm ready to change the game. Let me tell you something. If you young, you middle age,
yeah,
you old,
yeah,
you need help with your credit
busted and disgusted,
and you don't got no money, we gonna fix your motherfucking problem today.
There's a whole lot of passion. There's a whole lot of passion in that ringing endorsement that that $1 million worth of game is giving Him500 so much passion, so much energy. The build up. Remember, this is the opening of the show. Him500 hasn't even said a word yet.
Spurgo, Wall Street Trapper, MG the Mortgage Guy, Alex Good Energy, and of course, Ian Dunlap, the master investor. Some of your favorites, right? That's what Earn Your Leisure has done for the people. So it's some people. People say things without having a full understanding of what they're actually saying. The problem with that is that it's not true. So some people think that you can pay to get on Earn Your Leisure. Ian, how much did you pay to get on Earn Your Leisure?
Not a dollar, and truth be told, they have to take some damn convincing to get on.
You cannot,
to be real.
You cannot pay to get on Earn Your Leisure. We have never, and I'm not even saying like, I'm not knocking somebody that's doing that. Yeah. I'm just saying we have never accepted a dollar. You can't pay to get on Earn Your Leisure, and we've been offered a bag. You can't pay to get on Earn Your Leisure. So if anybody says that they paid to get on Earn Your Leisure,
or Market Mondays, because I can't afford what Cuban would.
Market Mondays, we never paid for a guest. So let's just get that straight. This is facts. No, let's do that. Nobody has ever paid to get on Earn Your Leisure. If you ever find somebody that says they paid to get on Earn Your Leisure, show proof. I'll give you every single thing in my brokerage account.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this. When you go to bed at night, you lay there and you take responsibility for yourself, because nobody's going to take responsibility for you.
Now, whether or not Him500 paid to get on EYL, we don't have no conclusive evidence. So we can say allegedly he paid to get on EYL. But we also know, that another fraudster or alleged fraudster, Jay Morrison, was formerly on EYL.
Okay, so the brothers from Earn Your Leisure were recently on The Breakfast Club, and DJ Envy asked them a very important question.
But how do you go between, who's telling the truth and who's not? How do y'all do your due diligence?
Yeah, I mean, we try to do as much research as we possibly can, but sometimes it's difficult. Really try to vet people, and but to be completely honest with you about it, sometimes you don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get a good feel for somebody, and then something might come out later on, and then I think you just got to take the steps at that point to correct it. If it's an issue, you know what I'm saying? Take it down. Take it down. Take it down.
Okay, so I looked all over YouTube and the internet for this episode of Earn Your Leisure with Jay Morrison, and this is all I could find. The video has been removed. In fact, any video with Earn Your Leisure and Jay Morrison can only be found on channels and pages controlled by Jay Morrison.
You have the real estate crowdfund, right? So what is a real estate crowdfund? Like, what's the details of that?
If you can see right here on the screen, what I have is a alert that the NFL Players Association put out on this fund. His background says item number 2. So number 1, he was a drug dealer for a very long time in his past. Okay. Item number 2, Mr. Morrison's 2016 bankruptcy filing. See, I want to be clear. We're talking about Chapter 7 bankruptcy. We're not talking about a bankruptcy for a business that needs to reorganize their debts so that they can catch up on some back payments. We're talking about Chapter 7. I ain't got it. Leave me alone. I'm not paying y'all back. Bad credit for 7 years. Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy basically in the last month of 2016. So we're talking about December the 5th, 2016. So you can basically say 2017. The fund went public in 2018, 1 year later. So you're telling me, that, okay, this is a good investment. Who's going to be managing this fund? A guy who filed for bankruptcy a year ago. A guy who filed for personal bankruptcy a year ago is going to be managing my client's money. Let me think about that.
Now, I did some digging, and I was wondering, has there been any other potential fake gurus on their platform? And I came across this video where EYL had Justin Owens on their platform. Now, I was like, this name sounds familiar. This name really sounds familiar. So I did a little Google search. You type in Justin Owens, and on the related search term, you get I Am Academy. Let's click on it, shall we? He is associated with I Am Academy, which is essentially an MLM pyramid scheme organization. Now, this video is not about MLM or about Forex or about pyramid schemes, but if you simply do a YouTube search, one simple YouTube search, type in I Am Academy, you get MLM or pyramid scheme also in the related search results. And from there, you get a host of unsavory videos of people describing their association or their experience with I Am Academy. So, this is a third person that may not be an ideal guest or may not be 100% authentic that EYL has had on their platform. So, buyer beware.
To make sure that I'm being extremely clear about what's going on. This is not a shot at any one financial guru, nor is this a shot at any one podcast. I am talking about the entire industry of podcasts that bring on financial gurus. I'm just using this one particular video of a financial guru who is admitting that he paid to play. He was never going to be on this podcast if he did not pay money. Clearly, he was never going to be on this podcast until he paid money. Then he went from that podcast, $1 million worth of game, to another podcast, which is Earn Your Leisure. Now, he admits to paying $1 million worth of game. So it doesn't take a PhD in finance to jump to the conclusion and assume that maybe he also paid Earn Your Leisure. Now, he didn't admit to the Earn Your Leisure pay to play. He definitely admitted to $1 million worth of game.
Fresh and Fit make it seem like they are just friends, right, with these influencers and content creators. But unbeknownst to the audience, there's an undisclosed business transaction. Basically, just assume any guest on their platform was either paid to get on there, or the guests themselves paid to get on their platform. Just ask content creator JR Wisdom, who was asked to pay $11,000.
This is the amount, so on and so forth. So, I responded back and I said, okay, what's the price tag? Right? And they come back and send me, not even professional at all, in my opinion. Hey, this is us on Social Blade or whatever the hell it was, whatever the hell this thing is. This is how much we get paid per video or how much we charge per video. 11 grand. Okay. I mean, that's cool. So I just left it at it. I'm like, okay, you guys just basically dismissive, even though you're responding. It's just basically like dismissive. 11 grand, go on business. You'll never be able to afford this. As if 11 grand, I'm not saying it's worth it or it isn't worth it at the end of the day, because based off of the return on investment for that, but 11 grand, bro, and you just came out like as if you're charging everybody that comes on your show 11 grand. From the bros that's on there to the dudes that's on there, you're charging 11 grand. But that's neither here nor there, man. It's just the arrogance of these guys.
Now, this pay to play proposition is a very, 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 very good environment for other potential scammers to peddle their trash courses and money making ideas. And you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. Of note, we've seen Fresh and Fit have real estate, crypto, and day trading influencers on their platform, teaching us how to make money online and get out of debt. With courses selling for as high as $900 with Cultivate Crypto and $800 for Wall Street Academy by Q Banks. It goes without saying that the make money online or financial freedom / passive income industry is laced with fake guru upon fake guru upon fake guru, embellishing a lifestyle to sell courses, informational products to their audience. Fresh and Fit, just like Earn Your Leisure, is obligated to do extensive background research on these guests before bringing them onto their platform to their impressionable audience. Basically, guests must be vetted regardless of whether or not they are paying. And this is not to say that platforms like Earn Your Leisure or Fresh and Fit don't have good guests on their platform, but to take everything online with a grain of salt.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Forbes, Huffington Post, New York Times, and CNN. Yahoo, which is a slowly dying company, is notorious for conspiring with AccessWire to post these paid press releases. If you click on this right here, hold on, AccessWire, click on it. Okay. Boom, it says submit a press release. Let's click on it, shall we? Public companies. Interesting. Oh, look at that. Pricing. If you want to be on Yahoo Finance, we don't really care if what you're saying is credible or not. Just pay us $600 or $9.95. Better yet, okay? If you Google pay to be on Forbes, what do you get? An ad by this company called Imperium Group PR. Forbes US for $1,500. Click on it. Boom. Get featured on, hold on. You can get featured on Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Yahoo Finance, the New York Times, BBC, CNN. Hey man, sounds like a pretty good deal. $8,000? It sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Just ask my good old friend, our good old friend, Tanner Chittister. But before we proceed to the main event, I'd like to note that our friend Tanner did in fact pay to be featured on Forbes, CNBC, Business Insider, etc., etc. by the outline titled How Brands Secretly, or not so secretly now, buy their way onto Forbes, Fast Company, and Huffington Post. So people, brands included, can and do pay their way onto these news outlets for positive media coverage.
No systems to actually utilize this. And so a lot of beginners, they get caught up in that social proof game. And I'm just saying, guys, you can buy your social proof, meaning you can pay for enough press and get on enough pages to play. And a lot of people, you know, that's what they do. You know, unless you're very attractive, you got a big booty, or you're famous already. Most of the big entrepreneurs you see, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, all those guys, I know for a fact they would pay for tons of shout outs. And they pay, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like some people look at it as like it's a bad thing. I'm like, why is that bad?
If that's what you got to do, play
you're
the game.
paying to get more people.
It's an evil world we live in. But hey, I'm going to keep living and loving life.
And Derrick, if you're gonna grift all the way. I don't understand why he's featured on Forbes India and not Forbes' main page. Make it make sense. Like, what business do you have in India, bro? Probably the asking price for Forbes' main page was too much. I don't blame you though. I don't blame you. Here he is again, according to the scammer page, right? They say people pay anybody for anything these days. Derrick's original post says, we in LA Weekly with Neighborhood Nip and a Smith and Wesson 500. We do this shit, apparently. The comment says, so basically, all caps, so basically, you paid yet again to be on another magazine and now are flexing like they were interested in you? Nipsey would never manipulate his people like this. You ashamed to the game. Now, paying for article placements isn't necessarily a bad thing, but making it seem like these companies reach out to you definitely screams shady. And also, it is good knowledge to know as a consumer that anybody and everybody with no business credibility can get an article placement or a feature on a podcast. Podcast Payola.
Now we're whipping something foreign on the front street. Yeah, like what are you really gonna do when we come through? Blow smoke so high I can touch the moon. Different days, same shit, ain't nothing new. Feeling for these racks, on my life I'll never rat. If you snitch you get a stitch, see that boy we circle back. Feel my brothers in the can, I can't wait until they land. Tryna lock up all my people, it's a struggle being black. It's a struggle being brass, tough times never last. Only tough people do, that's why I'm rapping on